Hello and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin. So there is still a lot of concern out there regarding bear market risk and, are we in a bear market? Are we still in a bull market? I already explained to you yesterday that the risk here on the Bitcoin chart is now that potentially, at least we have a B wave top in place, and that could lead us at least lower in a C wave. And it opens the door to 98K or 99K, the 55-week exponential moving average, maybe even a bit lower. And lower, I say, because of the microstructure. It will depend a little bit on how the microstructures develop. But I've been saying for quite some time that the 99K area is the next larger cluster of support. So that will be tested next anyway. This is where we have a previous swing low from June. And it's also where, as I said, where that 99K level is located, the 55-week exponential moving average, which is a level above which we have, above which Bitcoin has been trading in this entire bull market. Yeah, this white line. It's a dynamic support level, of course. But yeah, it is a critical support level that is carrying the price. It's holding up the price. It's holding the price up, basically. And it's been doing that for quite some time now. Throughout this entire cycle, as you can see, yeah. So we're still holding above all these, above this critical level, which is of course a dynamic support line. So we're quite far away from that at the moment, but a drop from 110K to 99K can happen very quickly. That can easily happen within a week. At the moment, I'm tracking here just a sideways range, and I think I explained it already yesterday. Look, we haven't really done much since May. Yeah, you could even say that, hey, we have been in a range since December, January, yeah, December 24, January 25. But the thing is, there was such a large decline and a rally to all-time highs later that I wouldn't call that part of the same range. With range, I'm just highlighting, I want to refer to price action here since May. Yeah, I don't think much happened. So it's literally just a large range. And I told you in previous videos what my kind of signals are that we are starting a bear market. I'm very transparent about it. The problem is that signals and warnings are not confirmation, and confirmation isn't certainty. So at some point we have enough signals that we can call it confirmation, but confirmation still doesn't mean certainty. So anybody who's looking for any certainty in financial markets, especially in the crypto space, I have to tell you, I have to be honest. I hate to be that person, but I have to be very honest. There is no certainty. It's all still about probability. So if I use terms like confirmation, it's still I still come from a space of probabilities. So it's probabilistic, the analysis. It's not deterministic. It's all based on if-then conditions, and probabilities are dynamic as well. That's very, very important to understand. So yeah, we're overall moving sideways at the moment. We're dealing with a sideways chop here at the moment. And one of those signals that I mentioned was that I'd be very cautious once, it's the first signal anyway, if we get a 5-wave decline, okay, we have that, and a 3-wave rally, okay, we have that, and an impulsive rejection from the resistance area. So any 5-wave move down is a big warning. And we had that. Yeah, I talked about it in the videos in the last couple of weeks. Again and again, maybe even in the last 3 weeks. But I talked about it again and again, that if I see any 5-wave decline as a reaction to this resistance area, it's a big warning. Yeah, and then obviously it's not as easy as that. But if the structure suggests it might be a 1-2 setup to the downside that started to unfold, yep, that is a concern. And that started to unfold. So again, I'm not all bearish and everything. I'm just cautious. We're still in a range. And I said to you before that, yep, 99K is next cluster of support. And even if we get another low, and that's all still fine within a bull market. And even if we get a break below that 55-week exponential moving average, as long as it's not a decisive break and meaningful break and a weekly close at least, it's not in any way more significant than any of these corrections we had before. Yeah. So how could you confirm a bear market then anyway, right? You can't. It's essentially, it would be a guess. So some people choose to guess and make it look like an analysis, but it's just an opinion. I would say without having the data, you can't really confirm a bear market. Now, as I said, we have a 5-wave decline from this high. Hold on, let me just organize all that. So, I mean, there's still a chance for the bulls. Yeah, I'm not going to rule it out. And even in this orange count, we could get a larger B wave, but that will now be decided in this next bounce. Because in the yellow scenario, I can call this wave 1 to the downside, wave 2 to the upside. And if we then see further downside like this, it will likely take us down to 99K, maybe even lower. That, to be honest, that depends also a bit on how high that wave 2 goes. And you see the detailed wave structure on the smaller time frame. Now, to be very clear, what I'm talking about here is just a warning. It is not a full bear market confirmation. That means in the short term, I'm watching for a bit of a larger bounce. Yeah, at least in this wave 2, this is now everything on the smaller time frame. I'm going to go to the 30-minute time frame. You see it in detail. You see that 5-wave decline and a potential 3-wave move up. So this is the resistance area we're watching. And I think we might even see a bit of a rally or a bounce into that resistance area over the weekend. The micro support zone to watch over the weekend is between $107,334 and $109,260. This is our micro support area. This is our micro resistance area. We're kind of moving in between. But as long as we stay above 114,000, as long as we stay below 114,240, I think the pressure is downward. In the very short term, though, we could move a bit higher into resistance. Only if we break above 114,240, that immediate 1-2 setup downside risk will be reduced. So I haven't got any confirmation here of a local top yet, but the risk is very high here, yeah, because this is a crystal clear 1-2 setup to the downside. So I'll stay close to this for you, but also this area has provided a lot of support in recent months, and this should also not be ignored, yeah, just recently here again. It's between 105,000 roughly and 107,500. It's impossible to give you exact levels here because it's more like a range. One more thing I'm watching, and this is something I'm always watching for on the Bitcoin chart. Hold on, let me go to the daily chart again. I'm always watching for that. So when the Bitcoin price, not the price, but when the Bitcoin RSI, the relative strength index, hits a certain level, I get very interested from a buying point of view. And that is typically the 30 level. So if we get to 30 or below, I typically buy regardless of structure. Just in a bear market, I'm a bit more careful. Now, we're not there yet, okay? We're currently above 40, 41. But there is this trend line here that you can see, possibly here on the daily chart from the RSI. And if we come down to roughly 36, then this could be an opportunity. Most recently, the price bounced from this support line around the 17th of October, but we had several reactions before. So this is a very, very interesting support line. So yeah, that's the update on Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you're interested in additional updates, then also check out our other channels, for example, the More Crypto Online channel, where we cover Bitcoin, but also other cryptocurrencies several times a day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.